Let's cut out all the warm self-help talk. I'm going to be the first person to be frank with you today. I'm going to give you 3 reasons as to why your on-page SEO sucks. I want you to completely stop publishing articles until you've watched this entire video and you've actually took action on everything. You see, with the rise of AI, everybody was plastering content all over their websites and they weren't really refreshing the old articles. What you want to be doing is making sure that you're giving as much love as you are to an old page as you are to a new page. And what I mean by that is you should be freshening up your articles as you go along. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 quick tips on how you can do that exactly. Let's very quickly talk about the history of search engines. You see, many years ago, people used to manipulate Google with automated link building techniques. You used to be able to throw up a website in the morning, load up a tool like GSA and automatically build 10,000 links in a couple hours worth of work. By the afternoon, you were ranking. This was a major issue back in the day. Google then decided to introduce the Penguin update, and this was to essentially counteract any spammy link building techniques. Fast forward to September 2023, and Google recently released the Google Helpful Content update. This update has wiped so many spammy, mass-produced content websites. One thing that's super important for you to understand is that the number of articles on a website, if you're producing 10 articles or 200 articles, the actual number doesn't always necessarily mean that it's a good thing. What you actually want is the quality of pages. Over the years, what we've been trained to do as SEOs is to create massive content clusters and win topical authority that way. However, this isn't always the correct way of scaling out a website. One thing I've learned speaking to guys like Corey is that you can have a 1,000 page website, and out of that 1,000 page website, you can have one page that only talks about cars, and that page gets all of your website traffic. And the 999 other pages could be talking about camera equipment or shoes. Now, that entire website actually has topical authority on cars. It doesn't have topical authority on camera equipment or shoes. You have topical coverage on shoes or cameras because you have so many pages talking about it. But because you have more user engagements landing on the actual page that's talking about cars, your website to Google is deemed as a topical authority figure on cars and not cameras. Now, if you have a lot of pages on your website that don't get user engagements, that don't have people actually visiting that page, those pages are classed as deadweight pages, and that can actually pull your entire website down. We need to essentially get rid of any of these pages or improve upon these pages. So this tool is called Screaming Frog. You might have already heard of it. However, if you haven't, go and check them out. I believe it's only $40 for the year. And what this tool can do is it will crawl our website and tell us any issues. However, you can take that one step further by going over to Configuration, API Access, Google Search Console, and plugging in your Google Search Console account. As you can see, I've already done it, but you just need to log in. Once you've then done that, you can then select the date range of information that you want to grab. By default, this is set to the past 30 days. However, what I would recommend is either doing 3 months or 6 months. For this crawl, what I'm going to do is set it to 6 months and click OK. Then once everything is set up correctly, what you then want to do is click Start. Now, depending on the size of your website, this can take either 5 or 10 minutes, or it can take longer. It completely comes down to the size of and how many pages you have on your website. Once our Screaming Frog crawl has completely finished, what we will want to do is make sure that HTML is selected and then click the export button and save the file. Now, once you have the file, we then want to go to our worst pages sheet. The URL for this sheet is down in the description of this video, so just make sure to go and make a copy for yourself. Then the next step is to import our sheet. So click on Import, click on Upload, then click Browse, and let's just upload our Screaming Frog export. So then what we want to do is append to current sheet and import the data. This will take a couple seconds and it will import. Now, if we scroll over to the right hand side, you will very quickly see that we have got a few columns that are highlighted here. So we have got clicks that are highlighted, we also have impressions that are highlighted, and also the CTR. Now, very quickly, you're able to see that a lot of these pages have low amounts of clicks or low amounts of impressions or low amounts of CTR, and those are the pages that we're probably going to want to actually care about the most. Like, for example, here we have got a page that has only had 20 clicks and it's had 56,279 impressions. So there's a lot of things that we can essentially do to improve upon that page. However, there might be some pages where you might decide to delete because the clicks are low, the impressions are low, and also the CTR is low as well. So that's been the worst pages sheet. What I would recommend is to create a hit list of pages. One other added tip that you can do with this sheet is create a filter. So if we just select on the number 1 on the left hand side, and where it says data, then create filter, and you can also then sort by lowest to highest. So as we can see here, we have got quite a few pages that we can actually improve upon. Now that you've identified all of these dead weight pages, we actually need to do something about these pages. Now there's various different techniques that we can actually do to improve upon these pages, like adding in missing secondary keywords, fixing the internal linking, and in some cases you may need to delete these pages. In this example, I'm going to be using a tool called Query Hunter. It will essentially highlight any missing keywords that aren't on the page that is actually getting impressions. Now, these are easy to win keywords. Google essentially associates any of these keywords with that page. However, you just don't have them on the page. So just by simply adding them into a sentence, or maybe even adding them as a H2 on the page, that will massively help you rank for any missing phrases. So now what we want to actually do is improve upon some of these pages. Now I have randomly just picked this page which is talking about online reputation management. As you can see, it has had 2 clicks and 6,470 impressions. So if we actually go to our back end of our website, I'm using a plugin called Query Hunter. It takes about 2 seconds to install. Very simple installation process, but this tool will essentially tell us any mentions of phrases that we don't have on the page. So as we can see here, we have got average cost of online reputation management expert. All of these are getting a lot of impressions. However, we don't even have it mentioned in our content. So what we might want to be looking to do is either add them in as sentences or add them in as H2s on the page. Now, if you want to go one step further, you can also use these as internal links from other pages through to this page. So another really good tool for improving old pages is SEO testing. And the reason why I like this tool is you can set up individual tests, which I'll show you in just a second. Now, what I have done here is I have set up my website. It takes about 2 seconds to set up. It asks you for your Google Search Console, and they also have a 14-day free trial at the minute. So if you do want to test them out, the link for this tool and also for Query Hunter are both down in the description. So once you've set up your website, what you want to do is enter the URL that you want to improve. So what I am doing here is looking at the Clear Scope review page. Now, again, very similar to Query Hunter, it shows you the keyword usage, how many times you have actually used it on the page, and the clicks, the impressions, and the CTR. So as we can see here, we have got Clear Scope mentioned 86 times, and we have had 0 clicks for it. But what we can also do is sort by impressions highest to lowest. And anything that has a significant amount of impressions, like phrase versus clear scope, we can add to our page. Now, again, in some cases, what you might find is that phrase versus clear scope or certain keywords that you're looking at might need their own individual page. So always make sure that you're checking the intent before you're actually adding it to the page. Now, for example, this would need its own page, as you can very quickly see, mainly because the intent is completely different to just Clear Scope review, which that page was talking about. So Make sure that you're double checking all of the queries that you're adding onto the page and making certain that they either deserve their own page or they should be added to the page. So previously I mentioned you can set up a test in SEO testing, and it is very simple to do, and I highly recommend everyone to do this. You can set up the test name to whatever you want, the description to, let's say we added in 15 keywords onto this page, so you could essentially fill out a brief description as to what you've done. You can set it up to say, right, I want an email in 4 weeks' time to see what the results are, and it will ping you an email in 4 weeks' time saying if the results have went up for the page or if they have went down for the page.
In some cases, we might need to get rid of the page completely. You might have uploaded an article to your website only to realise a few months later that nobody is actually searching for that term. Now that page is actually wasting your crawl budget. What I recommend for these pages is completely getting rid of them and either 301ing the old URL to your homepage or to a relevant blog article. This means that the next time Google is going to crawl that URL, it's going to realise that that page is no longer there and it's going to remove it from the index, meaning that your website is bloating the index less. Google absolutely hates websites that waste crawl budget, mainly because it's a direct cost to Google. This is also known as the cost of retrieval. The cost of retrieval includes the cost of crawling, rendering, evaluating, associating, indexing, and serving a document for providing value to the users. Now this means that if you have a competitor with the exact same content as you, however they have a more technically built website and they aren't spamming the index as much, Google will prioritize their website as opposed to yours. So when it comes to indexing, when it comes to crawling and also recrawling, Google will prioritize their website to yours. Now, I don't want to overboard you with tons of information. I feel like I've provided enough value in this video for you to have an actual action plan. What I recommend you to do now is go and fix all of the issues that I've just mentioned in this video. Remember, when it comes to recovering a website, it's always about having a plan in place and following it through. As always, take action, and I'll see you in the next episode.